Since 2001, Gateway Education of the Wild Rivers Coast has been putting on summer day camps, with their retinue of programs growing in recent years. Headed by Ron Cole, the combined programs have reached 1,200 youths over the past 21 years. What has Gateway accomplished within the community through this outreach?
It has definitely given some people increased the confidence and the ability to choose how they want to live their lives.
With all choices, there is a motive, and for Gateway, that motive was inspiration. What inspired Gateway and its programs?
Gateway was inspired by my own experiences within AmeriCorps. I was so excited to put all my college skills at work finally in a way that I didn't realize it was service, but I wanted to use it to help people. And when I was in college, I remember it was on the lawn of the business law class. I defined how I wanted to live my life by stating, I don't care what I do for a career as long as it forces or allows me to travel, to that I got to work on some group or team, because I love group work. Absolutely adore it. I'm not the best at it, but I really enjoy it. And two and three, that it got to help people or the planet, either one. And so from there, I joined AmeriCorps. AmeriCorps sent me to Del Norte County, where I taught environmental education and oil recycling, and it was a shitty program. And I asked if I could change it, and they said, sure. So my background was in opera and Shakespeare, so I used opera and Shakespeare in it, and it turned into a hit, and so much so that it got the money people in Sacramento said, can you come over here and show us what you've been doing? And they said, this is fantastic. Can you do 25,000 kids in San Francisco? And I was like, give me a budget. But life determined that I would do something else. And Mike McKenzie-Barr, the economic coordinator for Del Norte County, saw me soaking up a ginger beer at the local brewery because I was sick. And he says, I heard about what you did. I got $2 million and I want you to spend it for me. I'm just waiting for you to say the right thing.
With that boost of funding, Gateway changed from top to bottom. New staff and an entirely revisioned focus. What is the focus of Gateway now?
The focus is survival on one side and self-awareness on the other, because they go hand in hand. You can't survive without self-awareness. You can't have self-awareness without the modality of survival or healing or some positive thing to help you explore yourself. Begin the questioning process. So to ask how Gateway does what it does, it is that it draws. I tell people, look, this is what we do, and it's scary. It's scary to ask, who am I? It gets more than your name. Your name is something somebody gave you. It's not you. And when I ask the kids, so who are you? And they get this blank look on their faces. And eventually, after I keep asking questions, is this it? Is this it? And they keep saying, no, that's not really all me. No, that's not me either. That's not all of me anyway. Then they get to the point where they go, I don't know who I am. And I'm saying, yes, that's where we can start.
Knowing oneself is a long and arduous journey, and this is but a first step on that path. What else do kids gain from going to camp?
I would say the biggest thing that kids gain from going to the summer camps, and this is totally objective, it's because it was on the surveys that we gave the kids, was confidence. They gain confidence. I wish I had gone to this camp, so that I think I'd be a different person today if I had gone to this camp, just because I would have known that I had a choice. I didn't realize that as a child. I had a choice. I had a choice to go to school or not to go to school. I could have fought my parents, but I wanted to keep them happy. And it just never occurred to me that I had a choice. I had a choice in everything. I wish I'd had the skills that I learned that I teach in the camps. You know, the fox walking, the owl eyes, the deer ears, the concept of being able to go find my secret spot and spend time there with myself and create my own safe space. They take away, you know, the survival skills, like crazy survival skills, like making shelter from nothing, making fire from nothing, knowing how not to get lost and what to do when you do get lost. That would instill me with confidence. And it seems it has them because they tell me that years later.
In a young person's life, self-confidence is important for so many reasons, and learning survival skills instills confidence like little else can. With that self-confidence, youths can begin to ask more questions of themselves and be better prepared to find the answers. As on any path, there is a next step, so what's next for Gateway Education?
But what I would like to see is a school. I would like to see Gateway have a school. Not for a gazillion kids, but more like 100, 125 who are ready to ask that question, who am I? that would be fun. And to have a couple 10 acres to have a base of operations for summer camps and special programs. Give them a home close to a river or creek where the kids can study in an open air environment.
I love that. That looks so God.
You know, I have visions of having these giant open wall yurts that you can roll down this thick kind of plastic or that is super insulated, you know, like the stuff they use in NASA on the space shuttle. You know, R50, but it's only this thick. And
with all the success that Gateway has been seeing with its grant funding, a school might not be out of the equation. What's the secret to Gateway's success as an organization?
There is one really important thing for anybody who's doing this kind of work. It's finding your people, finding your community, your tribe, or whatever you want to call it. So the people of Gateway Education are the people that I would wish anyone would have the pleasure of meeting. All those people enhance the lives of others, and I get to call them my friends. And for anyone who is interested in creating something amazing, something beautiful, find good people. Find people who have the courage to address their shadow, have the courage to call you on your shit, and then feed them really good food and keep them close.
With the highly personal and focused nature of Gateway, finding the right staff is paramount. Sylvie Benson is the newest addition to Gateway staff, traveling here in her father's stead, and it seems her experience was not what she expected.
Well, I've honestly been having a great time. I came in expecting a little more meditation type stuff, but I've really enjoyed seeing how Ron and Kirsten have sort of subtly inserted that type of spiritual stuff into activities where people who typically haven't really explored that get to get to dive in and use it to improve their survival skills. I really enjoyed it, and I feel like I have learned by proxy of just watching this stuff happen and participating a couple times, of course.
The spiritual aspect of camp is not often consciously touched upon, involving subtle meditative techniques in a lot of the activities. But what were her first impressions of camp?
Well, I would say the main impression that I got initially was that everyone is very friendly. I felt very welcomed. Even before I had stepped onto camp, I ran into some counselors in Ron and Kirsten's house where I'm staying, and they were so kind to me and asked me about myself and invited me in, and on the very first day, I felt like I was a part of the group, and I wouldn't have known that some of the campers were new and hadn't been there before because the group seemed really well integrated, and like everyone was having a good time.
That community aspect is the secret to Gateway's success. From this new perspective, how would she describe camp?
I would describe this camp as a camp to learn survival skills firstly, make friends all the while, and learn something about yourself that you weren't expecting to in a beautiful, natural setting.
With all that said, Gateway's Summer Day Camp offers a lot to the youth that take part, inspiring the participants' confidence in themselves and their ability to choose what to do with their lives. Survival skills that Ron personally guarantees will allow your survival for at least 3 days in the Del Norte wilderness, and finally that of self-awareness, all necessary to answering the question, who am I? With more programs on the way and new opportunities opening up for Gateway, the future looks bright. Their Harvest Adventure program starts on August 22nd. For more information on that and Gateway as a whole, feel free to call or text 707-954-7666. This has been Sebastian for Redwood Voice.